Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. All on my little ownsome today, so it's going to be quick, but it's going to be good stuff. That's the main thing, isn't it? Right? Let's be honest. So let's have a look. It's just general share advice and not personal. And let's get into stories. And firstly, I want to have a look at the Dow. So, again, I'm going to warn you because what am I trying to do? Not get you too excited in this market at the moment. Now, last night's price action on the Dow was the lowest trading volume in I think the sixth lowest this year. So don't get carried away. I know it was up, but the markets are going down, down, down. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm not. No, I'm not normally right, but I think the markets are going down, a lot more down. So just be careful. We're going to get these little spikes up and down. Don't get excited with it. Don't get caught into these traps of trying to buy stories and thinking, oh, it's all right to go in, and then boom, down you go. There are little areas, and we're going to talk about one, maybe two of those little areas, which are holding up quite well in the market. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But just be really, really, really careful. And of course, Fed with a decision. Are they going to go 100 base points or 75 base points? That decision is coming Wednesday. And you know what? I think the situation is maybe worse. The Fed know deep down the situation is worse than what maybe even the market thinks. Well, certainly worse than the market thinks. And I'll tell you why. It's really interesting. I was watching this brilliant forecaster, and he's talking about the all the brokers in America and what they do. They value all these companies on all these like sort of forward P ratios or earnings. And you know what? There's We've seen FedEx come up saying there's world recession. We're seeing the World Bank coming out saying there's world recession. We're seeing the IMF. They've hardly adjusted their forecast at all. Maybe down 3%. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's ridiculous. And they're totally underplaying it. So as the world goes into a bit of a recession, possibly a world recession, I say definitely a world recession. I mean, at the moment, we've got bubbles in real estate, we've got bubbles in commodities, we've got bubbles in stocks, we've got bubbles in bond. I think this is going to be the first time ever when we've had a crash of all the commodities at the same time. Even the GFC, we had a property bubble, a crash. We had a stock market bubble, a crash. But the bond market held up, and so did commodities. So this time it's potentially going to be a lot worse. So we've got to be very, very careful out there, and inflation isn't going away. So obviously, I don't want to go on about it too much because, at the end of the day, if I'm not careful, I'm going to have my whole database on medication. But I don't want you to feel like that because this is a chance that as long as we got lots of cash, sometime in the next 3 or 4 months, we can buy amazing stories at really low prices. And this is the exciting time. I think this is the exciting time to be part of Equity Story and be on the journey because you can see from all the announcements we put out this year, not only have we picked the market absolutely perfectly, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do our goddamn best to pick the near the bottom for you, so you can go in and hopefully make some money. And just be wary, even what you're hearing from the RBA here. They're warning everyone. Oh, the property market might go down 10%. I mean, really? This is the same RBA that told us a year ago that interest rates weren't going to go up for another 4 years and there's no inflation. I mean, I don't think they've got their finger on the pulse at all. I think at the end of the day, that's why companies like Equity Store are really important. Independent share advice. We're not trying to keep you happy. We're just going to tell you the facts as we see them. Now, there is some good news. Black gold. Black gold. Thermal coal going absolutely crazy. So, New Hope Coal, what an announcement today. I think smashed estimates by about 300 million. I think the impact was something like 1.4 billion. I mean, unbelievable. Lifted their dividend, special dividend of 25 cents. Well done, New Hope, and I'm sure it's not going to be long, is it? Till New South Wales government lifts their taxes on these New South Wales coal players like they did in Queensland. That'll most probably be the catalyst to come down. At the moment, I think really I'd be, if you and I'll give you some stop loss if you're in New Hope, your stop loss is around 545. You've got to look what are they going to do? I think if you're still in Whitehaven, your stop loss just maybe under $8. Otherwise, I think I'd be holding them. It's the right place at the right time. Why would you sell that? It's going up. The market's bullish. Yes, it's doing exhaustion patterns, but sometimes you can have exhaustion patterns that will go longer than normal ones, and then go on to for 22 pips, 21 pips. So um, just hold in to all these cold plays, and I had got a list of these little cold plays here, and you saw IKW's down. Maybe it's because it's lightly traded, but generally charts looking good. That little MCM. So congratulations. So a few people emailed me. They picked this one up off Einstein's. What I would say when I'm doing Einstein's on the weekend, I'm looking at everything that's bullish. Go into the stock. I don't have time to research 100 stocks every Sunday, but go in. Most of them I know, but go in and say, is this a cold play, or what? If rare earths are looking good, look what the story is. Try and add that extra fundamental tick if you're going to trend it, and obviously MCM just ticking that box is part of the black gold story, isn't it, at the moment? Um, we've had a few announcements today, and FMG, I think they're going full renewable. They're putting billions of dollars in it. Congratulations, Mr. Andrew Forrest. He's doing the right. He's doing so much, isn't he, around the world, and so much charity. I mean, if anyone deserves billions, it's this guy, because I think he's spending it in the right way. But be warned, I suppose, if you're in a Fortescue for a dividend, I totally get it. But just be a little bit careful. The slowdown in China is real. I think the GDP numbers have gone right down. And again, this lockdown, they keep locking, they're still fighting COVID and locking it down. It's just not helping the China recover. And yeah, listen, be really, really careful with these iron ore plays. And I think maybe they've had their run. I think maybe there's better places to look at. And I think iron ore's just holding out at the moment over 100. I think if it gets below 100, I'd be getting out of if I was in any of these iron ore plays. I think certainly if I was trending them, or I wasn't in them for a dividend. Um, Stock of the day has to be SRG. Fantastic, 80 million contracts. Alcoa was one of those. Well played. Beautiful chart, hitting the wins. If you're in this, you'll be holding it. And I'll tell you what, if I get this on Einstein's, I've got a buy signal, I've got a bullish signal. It'll be a buy. It's exactly what you want to see. Um, Again, just be careful. There are these little pockets, and one of these pockets that's quite interesting where we can make money is rare earths. So rare earths, China historically controlled it a little bit. We've got a few companies here like Linus that obviously produces. So it's interesting, and you see there's a bit of FOMO in there because there's two really poor. I didn't think they were good announcements. REE, a few rocks, big deal. VMS had a little bit more info, but okay, they're up 11%, but wasn't really that impressed. But one that could be interesting, and disclaimer here, because I know the people involved in the project, is PBL. Now, I'm a little bit biased because these are the same group of guys that said to me, Dave, you want to be buying CIA when that was 50 cents, and that's been a fantastic 12 bagger, and now it's giving amazing dividends. What a story that's been. Um, but PPL is interesting because potentially it's one of the biggest rare earth projects in the world. The only downside is in Mongolia, but I'm not that concerned about Mongolia really. I mean, okay, it's and the reason I'm being okay, there's a risk on Mongolia, but the market cap is only 13 million. It's nothing, right? When you look at REE is about 36 million. You got look at VMS is 46 million. You can see potentially a lot of upside in PBL. I'd say get it on your radar, look at it, go to the website, read up about the story. They've got some other superb little projects in Australia as well. And possibly this could be one for the future. And actually, if you look at the chart, it's had the big run up. It's come down halfway through the candle. It's holding that sort of level. There's a lot to like about it, and they're drilling now in Mongolia, and I think shoring up those that deposit. Just a very very interesting little story. This, and certainly one for the radar. And one day, if we could even put it out as a buy. TLG, Talga, little graphite deposit Sweden. Again, some more drill results. I wouldn't be in this really at the moment. I think with the markets going down, this will eventually go down, but it's sort of holding up. It's a good little graphite play, maybe one of the better ones out there. Just before I go today, PNV, we talked about, are we going to buy this? Well, it's just not doing enough. It was great to see Macquarie came out with a $190 target price on it. Obviously, liking that they got FDA approval for their that latest medical product they've got. But we'll just play it by the charts. At the end of the day, the charts will show us the road, they'll show us the light. They'll take us hopefully to keep us out of the market when it's bad and keep us in the stories if we can make some money. But at the moment, I don't think we're quite there for PNV. On that note, I think that's all I've got to talk about today. Reasonably quiet. Um, but again, I was doing sort of more research, and interesting, I didn't realize 40% of the world's potash comes from Russia and Belarus. You can just see that the cost of food is not going down anytime soon, really. You've got oil. Biden eating into those strategic reserves they've got in America. They've got 484 billion barrels left. He's going for a billion a week. What's going to happen in a year? Are we going to have a massive spike in the oil price, like something like we haven't seen before? There's a lot of risk out there. Inflation is much worse than you think. Just be careful. Cash is king. It's an old saying that cash is king, but I think cash is king for a short amount of time. And that could be the next 6 months. On that note, thank you for listening to Equity Story. Have a wonderful day, and we'll keep trying to find some light in the doom and try to keep finding some little areas we can squeeze some money out as we go through, as we walk through this tricky period in time. Thank you very much, and thanks for listening to Equity Story. Have a good day. Bye-bye.